Thursday night football in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers visit the Tennessee Titans. You're going to get my free pick on this game. Tennessee has had one game so far this season where they've scored more than 14 points. That was against the Detroit Lions. They had a kick return for a touchdown, an interception for a touchdown. Other than that, their offense has been absolutely anemic. Doesn't matter who's at quarterback. VR, you have some thoughts on this game?
So you're telling me you like the Pittsburgh side?
I do like the Pittsburgh side.
I'm going to tell you, I'll be honest, I think this line's a little bit too high. Because of what we saw last week. I made the mistake of backing Tennessee last week. In fact, I made it here on the video. And I thought Hasselbeck would have been a lot better than what we saw. But with that said, I always like to go back and see what was the line before the season started, because Cantor gave a line for every game, and they took a significant amount of money on it. And I like to see that number and see, is it perception is why it changed, or is it sound fundamentals? Is there a reason for it changing? And before the season, Pittsburgh was only 1.5 in this game. Now all of a sudden, we've seen a big adjustment. And I think it may be a little bit inflated based on how bad Tennessee looked last week. And Pittsburgh, of course, beating the Philadelphia Eagles.
Of course, Tennessee doesn't just look bad. They're actually playing really bad.
I hear you.
So it's not a beauty contest. There's a lot of numbers to back up exactly how poorly they are playing. Chuck Edel.
You know, this situation a little bit reminds me of when Pittsburgh went to Oakland. It just, Oakland wasn't playing that good. Pittsburgh went in there. Oakland actually upset them. You would think Pittsburgh isn't going to be flat in the spot. They need the win. Hasselbeck quarterback for Tennessee. I originally thought that he maybe was better off with him.
I said that too last week. I said right now it's an improvement.
Right, for one
5
game,
years
right?
from now, no. But
exactly.
Right now it's an improvement.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a tough spot. I mean, this is one of those games where Pittsburgh needs to stay focused. I a little bit agree with VR. I thought originally the line might have been a drop high, but we know how bad Tennessee is playing, which makes it tough to back that side.
These Thursday night games, the offenses have really not shown up for both sides, certainly. Actually, under's a good bet, but the good numbers disappeared. I think everybody, the wise guys, certainly getting hip to that. And I think when you look at a game like this with a very limited offense like Tennessee has, I think a better offense, one that's a little bit better in tune, Pittsburgh will adjust back to that early return a lot better. So I talked about Tennessee's offense. I didn't talk about their defense. Their defense is atrocious. If you look down, they can't stop the run or they can't stop the pass. So I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to have a field day against
these Thursday night games, short rest, short preparation time. The under makes total sense because the offense can't put together a game plan like they would if it was a Sunday game. So that makes sense to me. But isn't there a slight advantage to the Tennessee side because of the short preparation?
There is a slight advantage playing the dog, I think, when you do have a low-scoring game ordinarily. I'm looking at it a little differently. I do think that's built into the number. I know the number
that's
opened,
what matters. That's what matters.
The number opened 6. I even saw some 6.5 early. We're down to about 5 right now, and that's why I think it's a very reasonable point spread. When you look at a Pittsburgh team, they got Mendenhall back last week. He looks pretty good. I think Roethlisberger kind of getting in tune a little bit. They had a struggle, certainly, but they came out ahead last week. I think they're starting to get it together.
How much do you affect that Palomalu is not going to play, hurt his calf again? He's out, and we know that the Pittsburgh defense just isn't the same when he's not in there.
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, he is a key player. I just happen to think this is a good spot for them, and more than a good spot for Pittsburgh, I just think it's an atrocious spot for Tennessee. That's the way I'm looking at this one.
Yeah, I'll throw one trend out there. Pittsburgh, following a straight-up win, is 3-13 against the spread, following a straight-up win in their last 16 games.
That's a very good trend.
Because they're always inflated.
We're going to make it 4-13, though. After
there you go.
Yeah. Okay, we've talked it out. Now I'm going to make it official. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers -5 over the Tennessee Titans for my free play.
Is it because you're a Pittsburgh fan?
I was going to say that.
They won't let me back in Pittsburgh if I pick the Titans. I'd like to go back and have a good time there.
At least once.
At least once. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk about Arizona State at Colorado. VR, the Vegas runner, is going to have his free play on that game.